Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're brought to you this second hour by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Before we get back to talking about the president unveiling recently his series of initiatives that he'd like to see moving our fragile housing market towards recovery, I'd like to let our listeners in the second hour know of a great resource. We've got a newsletter. It's free. All you have to do is give us a call at New Concepts during the week at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori. She'll make sure that you start receiving it electronically or by mail. A lot of the topics we cover are covered in further detail. We have over 23,000 folks who subscribe. It's yours free. Yeah. So just give us a call. But we're talking about right now, folks, the president unveiling a series of initiatives. We've been talking the last couple of segments about his ideas for a mass refinance program to help people who are underwater get refinanced and hopefully back on more level ground. And so far as we've talked about it, is it going to do anything, Tony?
Well, that's 25% of his initiatives is about mass refinancing, and from what it sounds, I think it's too little. I think it's too late. It's too much messing around with the market. If we would let the market sort itself out, the recovery would be faster.
Yeah. So we've got too little, too late. More of the same, right?
There you go. That's
with what put us in this difficulty to begin with.
That's right.
And it's just
let the market alone.
Let the market alone. Well, let's take a look at the second part of this initiative, and that is a homeowner bill of rights.
Okay.
I am always bothered by organizations and everybody that feels that there needs to be another Bill of Rights. We have a Bill of Rights, thank you very much, that have been established with our Constitution, and I think that's all we need. This has become sort of a catchphrase for things that people ought to expect. And what I don't like about this, Tony, is that we already have produced a society of people who have great expectations. We have a society of people who feel entitled.
You're saying unrealistic expectations,
yes,
aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to, or meaning, yes.
Yeah.
Of great, meaning many, expectations. But we have people who feel entitled to things, and I don't know that I would agree. But here's...
And, I just caught this.
Yes.
The Homeowner Bill of Rights, his proposal is based on reform of the mortgage servicing industry. There are several regulatory enforcement actions already in place being sought by the federal government and state attorneys general. This portion of the plan, President's plan, does not require congressional action.
That's scary.
That's really scary, because you and I have talked about many agencies that govern us that are agencies. They're not elected officials. They're not regulated by the taxpayers. They're like little fiefdoms unto themselves, and they come up with regulation after regulation after regulation.
Exactly. It's called decision by fiat.
There you
know,
go. That's right.
And
so
that's
this really made my hair stand up on the back of my neck.
And as well as it should, folks, this should get you concerned. So here's a homeowner bill of rights, and it's dealing with the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
But even that aside, the fact that you brought up, which I think is an excellent point, this could be enacted without Congress, which means it's probably going to be.
Yeah, right.
But number two, it doesn't do anything. Let me say that one more time. It doesn't do anything.
Oh my gosh. So what are they going to make the mortgage industry do?
Okay, here's they've got three ideas here. Here's the one: improved mortgage disclosures for a homeowner bill of rights. Here's the first thing: through its Know Before You Owe initiative, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is in the process. Here's the great idea. Wait for it. The Financial Protection Bureau is in the process of consolidating two important disclosures given consumers shopping for a mortgage. So in other words, folks, we have two different disclosures. We've put them on one page. Isn't that what it's saying?
Yes, it is. Consolidating two important disclosures.
Is this the great initiative?
When the consolidation process is completed, consumers will receive one disclosure covering estimated closing costs and credit terms. All right. And so I guess the borrower is more likely to pay attention to one page or one disclosure than they would to two.
Yeah. You know what? I will say this. I wonder sometimes about the fiduciary responsibility of people in closing. If this is where you're headed, if the president is with his initiatives, if there's an issue, think about it. When you go to sign for a closing, you probably sign your name on 75, 80 different documents.
Yeah.
And I had one closer say, you're going to sign your name 120 times before it's done.
Whoa.
Or initials.
Wow.
And what do they say? Oh, here, sign it. This is a boilerplate one. Oh, here, this is standard. Do you read it before?
No.
Before you close? No. If you were, would the closers be very upset with you? Yes, they would.
Well, there's no encouragement to read it. There's a lot of encouragement to get through the process. Let's get through the process.
Can you even get it? Is it realistic for you to expect to get it a week ahead of time so you could go through the voluminous mounds of paper? No, because as we know, a lot of times the ink isn't dry when that package is being brought to the closer, right?
That's right.
We're waiting last minute for a couple of items, then we can close.
That's right.
So if you're really concerned about what people need to know, you need to change the process.
I agree with you. Everyone is in such a hurry to get the sale done. Let's get the sale done. And the seller's in a hurry. The buyer's in a hurry. The agents, the real estate agents are in a hurry. The closer's in a hurry. What's lost in that process is the consumer's understanding of what's going on.
And this is where I was saying we've gotten to a point where we've become the great nanny state, because it is always there has always been the adage, buyer beware.
That's right.
That before you buy, you're an adult.
We should be responsible for our own actions. We should be responsible for the contracts we sign. But if we're being pushed and pushed and pushed through a process that is complicated and mystifying at best.
And if you were to say, I want all these documents before we close,
then the deal's off. We'll go to the next buyer.
Oh, everybody else is going to be angry.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can't have it both ways, folks. If you're going to be responsible, you got to be responsible.
But you make a very good point. If I'm being pushed through this process by all sides, then I do have to rely on someone else to take care of me.
Yes.
So if I'm pushed through this process I don't understand and I get screwed, I go to the government and say, hey, help me out here.
Yes.
So you're right. There's this vicious circle.
And that's what we've done. We've created, the government has created itself large enough to be able to say, we'll take care of all your needs.
Yeah.
And the government, and what was it? I think it was Gerald Ford who said the government that's large enough to give you everything you want is large enough to take it away.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so I've got some concerns. So a big initiative here on a Bill of Rights is to take two disclosures and put it on one piece of paper. That's number one. What's number two? Disclosure of mortgage servicing fees and prior notice of fee changes. It says mortgage servicers will be required to make, listen to the language, timely disclosure of all fees and penalties to borrowers. Any change to fee or penalty structures must be provided to borrowers prior to becoming effective. What is that saying?
Define timely.
Yes.
That's very subjective.
This is saying nothing. I can tell you that in every single mortgage or refinance that takes place, people are receiving things before they sign it because it's there in front of them now to sign.
You came in, you sat down, here it is, I'm disclosing it to you in advance.
But what is this saying?
Now
what is this helping? It says that you need to do this to borrowers prior to becoming effective. Well, isn't that what's happening now?
Yes.
But our government's saying this is going to take care of things. This is not changing anything, is it?
No, it's not. All of these things are already in place.
Yeah. What's
passing new rules about it or coming up with new initiatives and new legislation is not going to make it any more effective than it already is. But we deal with this all the time with boards of directors. People are not complying with this rule, so let's write another rule about it.
Yes.
So they won't comply with that, so let's write another rule about it. That's exactly what's going on here.
It is unbelievable to me. Here we have something. It sounds good. These are initiatives.
Well, of course, but the point is, it's already in existence.
It's already
it's not helping.
It's already in existence. They're not making any changes.
Yeah,
and
they're not coming up with anything new.
And that is what becomes the shell game sometimes with some of our elected officials.
Yeah.
And if we're not paying attention, it seems like a good deal when nothing has changed. Well, hey, we need to take a break. When we come back, one more segment before we end the show today, so don't go away.